got to stand up strong. Think the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Hi, y'all. Welcome to the show. I hope you had an amazing weekend. It's Monday again. What the? The weekends goes by like 90 going north. You can get involved by calling 888-7753. 773 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. And my biblical question, a brand new biblical question. Brand new. Oh, we don't have, it's not ready yet? Oh, okay. It's not quite ready yet. I'll come back to it. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. And you can podcast all the shows all the time. But if you want to listen to the show and still do what you're doing, stay busy at what you got to do, you could be listening live on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. Amazing, huh? And to donate, we got to catch up with and finish up the super chat from last week. But to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bon JLP Cash App. Bon JLP Cash App. We'll get the Bible question ready as we move forward. I just told them about it this morning, so they didn't have time to put it together yet. For the first-time listeners who may not be aware, that we take all calls on Mondays, but we take the ladies' calls on Monday as they come in, because every Monday is and will always be Female Monday.
I like to make men uncomfortable.
All my life I had to fight.
Let women take over.
Some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men.
I proudly say I'm a feminist. Thank you.
Deep in their soul, they want to be home with those babies. We've been lied to for so long.
Amazing. That's the truth. We it's Female Monday, 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Fellowship, yesterday's fellowship. Some of you might not be aware, but we have Sunday morning fellowships every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. You can either come in or watch it live on the YouTube there, on the net. And yesterday was amazing. I know I said it every Sunday. And it's true. I'm not making it up. If you were not there and you missed it on the net, you didn't get a chance to catch it on the net, you can podcast it. rebuildingtheman.com/church. You don't have to miss out. And it was helpful for anyone who wanted help. And I realized everybody don't want help. So I understand it. And I'm just fine with that. Really. Stay in your misery and suffer. Some people love pain. They love their suffering. They love misery. They love jealousy and strife and insecurity. Suicidal thoughts, loneliness, revenge, gossiping, fear, and doubt, and worry. They love it. And I totally understand it. God will leave you in it, and he's not going to sweat about it, and so will I, and I will not sweat about it. You have a right to stay in your misery. Live that way and die that way. Live that way and die that way. Really, you can die in your hell. And it's nobody's fault but yours. No one's fault. If you fail to pray and your soul get lost, it's nobody's fault but yours. You can't blame anyone. There's a way out. And because you have refused to take that way out, you can't blame anyone. Isn't that amazing? But for those who want a way out, listen to yesterday's fellowship. It was a way out. You can have paradise right here on earth, or you can stay in your misery and have hell right here on earth. It's up to you. As an adult, you're responsible for you and no one else is. And you can't save anybody. And I know there are people who love trying to save someone else. They get a thrill from it. Really, they really do. And they are miserable while they're trying to do it. And that's why they're trying to do it, so they can feel good about a little better. They stood up for the underdog in their mind. But it's up to you. Check out yesterday's fellowship at rebuildingtheman.com/church. All right? So, I got a text yesterday from a friend, and she was telling me that Hamas says that IDF killed leaders in airstrike. And she was like, things have changed in the Middle East forever. For Israel, for the best. And so I had my producer find that soundbite for you, in case you're not aware of it. There is a war going on between Hamas and Israel. And it's a mess, a real mess. The only thing I wish, well, not the only thing, I think that when I become president, all those people in this country who are chanting death to America, and they are in America, on American soil, whether they're citizens or not, when I become president, every voice I hear that chants death to America, I deport them immediately. Take away their IDs, put them on a no-fly list, and they can never come back into my country. It doesn't make sense that you allow your enemy not only to come on your property and chant death to America and fly the enemy flag and stomp on your flag and burn it. What has happened to America? But anyway, apparently Hamas says that IDF killed leader in airstrike. Watch this from Fox.
So if you've had an affair, do you keep that under your hat?
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. I'll come back to it, folks. What a mess. Yesterday I talked about do we have the Elon Musk thing ready?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. I'm thrown off now. What the? So let me do this. We're going to go to a break so I can figure out what's going on. And then my mind can flow naturally. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, folks, welcome back. I think we got a little bit laid out, a little bit now. A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And I had asked for that Hamas tape where they say that the IDF killed leaders in after strikes. Watch this from Fox.
Israel and Hezbollah are preparing for the possibility of an Israeli ground offensive into southern Lebanon, with Hezbollah's deputy chief saying this morning, if that happens, Hezbollah will be ready for it. And Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, saying killing Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah for 32 years, was an important step, but not the final step. This as Israel continues surging resources to its country's north. You see tanks here ready for a possible ground invasion. Israeli special forces also reportedly going into southern Lebanon to gather intelligence. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes continue. They took out 3 Palestinian militants in central Beirut this morning, and the head of Hamas in Lebanon, Fatah Sharif, in a separate strike. Israel also hit Yemen's port city of Hodeidah yesterday after the Houthi rebels launched 2 missiles at Tel Aviv last week. Israel sent a clear message to Iran, hitting its target from more than 1,100 miles away. That's the same distance from Israel to Tehran.
Amazing. Don't mess with Israel. They don't play. And I know there's some conflict right now between America and Israel, in that America, this leadership in America now don't like Israel as much. And so they're not really giving, according to the reports, I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, of course, closed doors, but they won't give Israel the type of support that they would give if Trump was in there. And yet, Israel is taking care of his own. I like that. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. Isn't that amazing? I'm getting a stretchy sound in my headset. Testing 1, 2, like a static sound. Testing. But anyway, I want to go to Nick out of Florida. Nick, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how you doing?
All it was. Speak up a little bit.
All right, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but just speak right into the phone and just a little louder.
Okay. So I've been watching your show for a little bit. I called before about a situation.
Okay.
And long story short, I'm moving out of my mama's house.
You're moving out?
Yeah.
How old are you?
22.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
How does it feel knowing you're moving out?
At first, like, when I had bought the flight, I was, like, kind of scared. Because, like, I ain't really worried about, like, life. But, like, I don't know. I kind of, like, I don't want nothing bad to happen. Like, I ain't trying to, like, go back to, like, jail or nothing. So I didn't want to get into, like, no altercation with nobody.
Right.
But that's really all I was worried about.
Oh, you were concerned about getting into an argument with someone ended up back in jail?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I ain't trying to get into that.
Well, the way you avoid that, I'm telling this work, Nick, and I'm telling you the truth, it does work. It cannot fail. Never, ever, ever, as long as you walk this earth, never argue with another person about anything. And don't argue with with the spirits, the thoughts in your imagination inside of your head, and do not argue with anyone about anything, and you'll be just fine.
Yes, sir.
So don't try to prove anything. If somebody call you names or they try, you only need to protect yourself if it's a physical threat, and you need to protect yourself physically, then you do that. But as far as arguing with people and trying to prove anything to anyone, never do that. You just argue with another devil, two devils arguing. So if you do that, you would never end up back in jail.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And like I got one more like question.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a question. I just noticed it. Like I've been doing the silent prayer like real consistent, and I noticed I'm not as like goofy as I used to be.
Yep.
And like I noticed like a lot of young females, like I've been getting more attention from them. So like I was watching Bond, and you said like kind of like you gotta kind of like let go of your religion and let go of like what you think is love and all that.
Yep.
But I feel like if I let go of all of that, I might have sex out of wedlock, because like these girls kind of, you know, they be looking good. I know no funny junk, like they be like, you know, like I'm a young man, you know what I'm saying? So,
I understand.
I be trying to avoid it.
Well, the way you avoid it is stay away from the thoughts about it. When you see those girls and they're tempting you, especially now, it's going to be more overwhelming because you're working on yourself. You're overcoming the spirit of mama. And so you're going to get a lot of temptation from girls. The devil is sending those girls to you. Just stay out of your head about fantasizing or being with them, and just continue to do the silent prayer and work on you. You'll be fine.
Yes, sir.
But
I appreciate it.
Yeah, just don't get into your head about it.
All right.
Hold on. Can you hold on a minute, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment.
Today's show is brought to you by Sevenwood Financial Services. For 20 years, Sevenwood has been a trusted partner to Americans who take action to guarantee their retirement income. Their team of licensed, independent producers will help you understand your best options for protecting your hard-earned savings. So stop living with your retirement worries. Call Sevenwood and let them help. Schedule your free consultation now. Call 860-470-6250.
Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Let me go quickly back to Nick out of Florida. So, Nick, you're 22. You're finally moving out. You're getting your own place, right?
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, that's the plan.
What your mother say about you moving out?
She was actually like more supportive than I thought.
Right on.
Like, she didn't really like try to hold me in. She was kind of like, "Oh, okay, you know, I got a calling for your life." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I just left.
And so now, once you move, just do the silent prayer, watch those thoughts, go to work, and save your money, and just live your life daily. And when those girls try to tempt you, you let it pass. And if God want you to have a wife or anything like that, he will make it possible without your help. And it'll be the right woman, but don't be concerned about that right now. Your primary concern is overcoming your fallen state, meaning overcoming the anger and the imagination. And then and go to work, save your money, and just live a simple life.
Okay. But how do I know if I'm not? Well, I guess I don't know. I guess I ain't gonna worry about it. I was gonna say how do I know if I'm not like ignoring this girl as God sent her, or
Because if God puts something in your life, you can't ignore it. So don't worry about that. And plus, you're 22 years old. You're too young to get married anyway. You got to get your life going first. You got to get your own place, get a job, save some money, and work on yourself. Right. And so right now, you don't need that in your life. You don't need that kind of trouble.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I ain't even looking. I just didn't want to mess up on that.
Yeah, don't even think about that for now, right?
Yeah, sir.
Is that it?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm at work.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, go back to work.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome, buddy. Let me know how it goes.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right. Stay with the prayer, though. Stay with the silent prayer and watch those thoughts. Let them pass.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. 888-7753-773. Let me go to a first-time caller out of Missouri. Scott out of Missouri. Scott, welcome to the show. Hey. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. Glad I could get through to talk to you. I just wanted to share two things with you. First of all, you've been I was on this journey. It was the red pill journey years ago. I married a single woman, or not a single mom. I got with her 12 years ago, and it was absolute hell. And I'm a student of the Word. I got a theology degree. I study the ancient Hebrew language, and I started really studying Scripture and found that the red pill was onto something, and that there was a lot of truth. I started dominating and ruling over my family. I use that word loosely, but about 3.5, 4 years ago, and my life completely changed. Started, basically getting control over myself. And as I did that, I took control of my house and my wife. And I know you say don't marry single moms, but I do think they're redeemable. My wife has completely changed. She submits to me. She's crazy about me. We've got 8 children combined.
What do you mean by combined? You have 4 and she has 4?
No, I had 3 prior, and she had 2 prior, and then we have 3 together.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, just like we are redeemable in our fallen state, I do think that even the single moms are redeemable. Would I ever recommend somebody to do that? No, I don't think it's optimal, or it's something to take on. But at the same time, I have watched my wife completely transform. I mean, she worries about taking care of me every day. She's attentive to me, but that was all because I changed. And the scriptures, if you look at them in the ancient Hebrew language, it actually says that women were designed to be like the man's gym. They were meant to oppose us. And through that opposition process, that actually brings about a stronger and better man. So he has to rule. He has to learn how to rule in order to become a true man.
When you say that your wife take care of you, she's attentive to you, what is it that she's doing that you need?
Oh, it's nothing that I need. I think a man should need.
What is it that she's doing? Are you at work or something?
No. I'm pulled over here in a parking lot to talk to you.
What is it that your wife is doing that you need attention for?
Oh, no, I don't need attention. In fact, I don't believe a man should need anything.
When you say she's attentive to you, what do you mean?
Yes,
you say she takes care of you and she's attentive to you. What is it that she's doing that is attentive to you?
She wants to make sure that I've got food for all my meals. I own a business in Kansas City, and she's constantly making sure I've got food. She makes sure that she initiates pretty much all the contact between us. I just go out, make the money, provide, protect for my family. I teach my wife and I teach my children, but all the other stuff, she makes sure that my clothes are taken care of.
Is she older than you?
No, she's 4 years younger than me. And that's important too, because I need to look up to you.
Is she working on overcoming her hell?
Yes, absolutely.
What is she doing?
I've been helping her through that. I'm sorry?
What is she doing for herself to overcome it?
She forgave her father and mother. That's kind of been the missing key to really overcoming all this stuff. I mean, even with you, when I found you a few months ago, life was just amazing. I mean, it was great. But when I found you, the forgiving my father and mother was the missing piece that kind of created the watershed moment where some transformation that's been going on the last few months has just been incredible. And what you say about thoughts, it says the prince of the power of the air. That word air there translated in the Hebrew, if you take it back to the Hebrew, is actually thoughts. And it's absolutely amazing because I knew all this stuff, but then when I started listening to you, you were saying things that lined up with the scripture, like the effeminate man in 1 Corinthians 6:9. The word effeminate means raka, which means head covered. So a man who prays with his head covered, in other words, a man who prays with his wife and rulership over him, cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And you say that, but it's proof right there.
Amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
I'm glad that. Are you doing the silent prayer now?
No, actually, I have not started that, but I need to get into that. I've just been watching your videos. Like I said, I own my own business, so I chew through your videos. I've probably watched 100 of them in the last few months.
Well, make sure you start doing the silent prayer because you want to get to a point in life where you're no longer living in the illusion of the past or future. You want to stay present. And,
yes,
and
absolutely.
in being present, you will overcome all those thoughts. They will be taken away from you, and you would just have the mind of God. You would no longer have the mind of evil.
And I already feel like that's happening now without even getting into the silent prayer. I used to be a guy who was in my head all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly in my head, and I find out now it's really strange, but I have like no stress. Like I literally do my job, and all I do is do my job, and there's no thoughts racing through my mind. There's no bombardment of thoughts from the past or thoughts of the future. It's like it's just what's there, what I'm doing now. And it's been a completely transformative thing. And I've been teaching my kids, or my children, I should say. I've got 2 teenage boys, and I've been trying to teach them a lot of this stuff for the last few years. And but this missing piece with the mother and the father thing is absolutely instrumental. And it's quite sad that the church doesn't teach a lot of this stuff that you're talking about. That the church doesn't teach it, because men, women, and children are all suffering as a result of it.
100%. That's why God said before you enter into the kingdom, you must forgive. You're not going to enter into the kingdom with an angry heart, because anger is evil.
Yeah, and that passage there actually talks about the father as well. It says that brother. It says if you do not, forgive your brother, if you don't love your brother, how can you love God?
Yeah.
If you don't, it actually translates also into father. If you can't, because all brothers are fathers, and if you look at it, even there in the Strong's, basically saying that you can't love a father you can't see if you can't love the father that you do see.
Right on.
And
well, Scott, you stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, and again, do what you want, of course, but I want to encourage you. you got to practice now staying present at all times.
Okay.
You want to be aware of those thoughts 24 hours a day.
Absolutely.
And just simply be aware. Go about your day doing your practical things, working and whatever. But practice being present 24 hours a day by being aware of those thoughts.
Will do. Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, stay with it, man. I appreciate your call.
All right. Appreciate you, Jesse.
All right, buddy. 888-7753-773. That's the line opener. Renee is out of Texas. Renee, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. Good morning.
Good morning, Renee.
Hi. I spoke with you before. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. I spoke with you before regarding my mother. You wanted me to forgive her.
Uh-huh.
And I texted her because me and her don't have really a good relationship. So I texted her and told her, hey, can we talk? And she did not respond to me. So that following day, I called her and she didn't answer, but she did call me back. And I kind of, told her what you said, I'm sorry for how I treated you and things like that, my resentment towards you. But she was like, it's a little too late for that. And she kind of like hung up on me. So I didn't really feel anything after that, like that peace like most people feel, because I felt like I did it incorrectly. I didn't call her. I didn't FaceTime her or I didn't meet up with her. So just trying to make sure if I did it correctly or I don't know.
Yeah, you did it perfectly. You did it the only way you could. You can't force someone to meet with you. You can't force someone to FaceTime. You had that conversation. So now let the anger go toward her or anyone really, and just work on your life and move forward. Forget about her.
Okay. And I feel like sorry, go ahead.
You don't need that evil woman in your life, so move on. And again, just don't resent her. Don't have anger toward her. She can't help herself, and you move on with your life. You'll be fine.
Okay, and I think I feel like I did it incorrectly in ways because I was like apologizing, like for myself. It wasn't really towards her, so I kind of felt like I didn't do it correct.
You apologized for resenting her?
That, and I was saying sorry for, that we couldn't have a relationship, things like that. I felt like I was not saying it correctly.
No, you did fine. When you admitted that you resented her and you realized you were wrong for doing that, you on your way. You're doing fine. But what you're doing right now is you're listening to the devil telling you that, oh, you didn't do it exactly like Jesse said it. You didn't do it quite right. You did this. And you're believing the devil. Let those thoughts pass.
Okay.
Those thoughts are lying to you.
Okay.
And so don't try to approach her anymore. And you've already forgiven her. Move on. Have you forgiven your father as well?
Yes, I called him that next day. He was very excited to hear from me.
Yeah.
And he actually apologized to me, too, after I told him,
Right on. Fathers love their sons and daughters. And when they leave the mother of the kids, not the children, but the mother makes you think they left you. So that's good. So now just live your life. Do the silent prayer, stay present, and move on with your life. Go to work, build yourself a house, have a bunch of children if you want, and just live your life.
Okay. I do have actually 2 boys, but I had them out of wedlock.
Oh, okay.
But I married my husband after that, so the babies are with someone else. And I know you speak on that a lot, so I don't really know how to handle that situation as well, because I feel like I have brought...
You say you married the kid's father or a different man?
No, a different man.
Oh, okay. And what about it?
I just feel like before I watched your show after marrying him, so I feel like I brought some kind of anger in my household on how I act, how women act.
Right.
So I feel like he resents me, and he has like a hatred towards me as well.
Do you have any kids with him?
No, not yet.
Are you pregnant by him?
No.
Oh, well, you said not yet. I thought you were pregnant. And so your question about that is what?
I mean, since I married him and I already had children with someone else, I mean, do I still just live my life correctly? I guess I'm confused because, like I said, I hear you a lot talk about not having to not marry when you have kids with someone else or something like that.
Right.
In that matter.
Yeah, you should never marry. Not, I don't want to say never, but you should. A father or a mother should not marry someone else when they have little children, because the kids need the attention of that parent, and that parent tends to try to get attention from the person they are married to or living with, and the kids know it, and it just creates anger in the kids. How are your children feeling about this man you're married to?
We really never had a conversation. I have a 14-year-old and then 11-year-old.
And how do they act around him? And do they seem to be not liking him?
No, they love him.
Oh, okay. Well, right now, don't worry about it then. Just continue to work on you. Keep your eyes on you, and let the light guide you. You'll be fine.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Are you doing the silent prayer?
I have not started it, no.
Why not?
No reason. I have no reason. I just haven't started it. I mean, I've seen the video. When I sit down to try to do it, I get distracted.
In what way?
Like, it's maybe my children or my husband has asked me to do something, and then in the morning I'm like super busy trying to get my children to school and things like that, so don't really have time to myself to do it.
And so you can't. What time you wake up?
I get up around 5:45.
And so you can't wake up at 5 and do it?
I mean, I can.
Why don't you do that then? You got to put this first. You must put seeking the truth first above all things, and the truth will guide you. And you do have time to do it. You're not that busy. You can wake up at 5 and do it for 10 or 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So don't have an excuse. You have time for everything else, but you got to have time for first things first.
Okay. I appreciate you, Jesse.
Stay with it. Stay with it. So now all you need to do is start doing the silent prayer. Wake up at 5 and then do it for 10, 15, 20 minutes at best, and get up and start your day. You're going to see your days will become amazing. It'll be easier than what you can even imagine.
Is it better just to do it in the morning or morning and night, or just morning?
Do it in the morning when you first wake. Let's say you and your husband, you're in bed, right? And it's 5 a.m. and your husband's still asleep or gone or whatever. You lay there for a few minutes, look around you, open your eyes, look around the room, notice you're there in bed, and then close your eyes and just become aware of those thoughts. If none come, just notice no thoughts, but don't worry about it. If you get a bunch of them, just watch them, but don't freak out. Don't say anything, just watch them. If you get a few, just watch, and then get up and start your day. And I'm telling you, everything is going to change automatically.
Okay. When you say watch your thoughts, what do you mean?
Like, you know how when you close your eye, you can see a bunch of thoughts in your head about the past or the future, what you need to do or what you did not do, and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch those and let them pass.
Okay.
Like you're watching a movie.
Mm.
And don't argue with it. Don't do anything about them. Just watch them.
Okay. Okay, I can do that.
How do you spell your name?
RENEA.
Okay, RENEA. Okay. All right, so just stay with her, Renee. I don't care what happens. If the whole world turn against you, or if the world is falling apart, you stay with it no matter what.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
Let me know how it goes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. 888-7753-773. Super chat. Super.
Morning.
Good morning.
Joe PR this past Friday answering last week's biblical question.
What was it?
Why is your
life one collision after another?
My life is one collision after another because I keep believing thoughts. At first answering the question, I thought, I don't have collisions. What the? But then I have doubts and believe the thought, what the? The devil is sneaky.
Yep.
I think I read that one, but it was good.
Every human being has collisions in their lives, and they may not realize these thoughts are collision and that they're listening to them, and they keep consulting with the thoughts. Thoughts tell them to do one thing, they do it, it doesn't work. Then they tell them to do another thing, and they'll do that, and it doesn't work. Or it may look like it's working for a minute, then it stops working. Then the thought tells them something else to do. One collision after another. You got to disobey thoughts. Thank you.
C-Bill 5 Coffees. It's known that men are leaving the workforce. Guess what, men? Your jobs are being replaced by illegal immigrants.
And by women.
Laughing face scrunched.
And by women. Amazing. Thank you.
You're getting a preview of what's to come under the Harris administration. LM blank O.
Amazing. Thank you.
Laughing his... Sion bought a coffee. Oh, we got...
Let me take a break. 2 more hours to go. The hate news and not the fake news is coming up right now. And I'll be back in a moment. 2 more hours to go. 888-77-JESSE. That are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 guaranteed steps to spiritual, family, and financial success guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them. And blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. Devastation with the hurricane and the storm surge and major flooding. Like 100 people killed down in the beautiful South in America. What a mess. And peace in the Middle East. Not. And other stuff going on. The vice presidential debate is tomorrow evening. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, guys. The vice presidential debate. J.D. Vance versus Tim Walz. This is the end of hour 1 already of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Female Monday, September 30th. Last day of the month, by the way. The rent's due. Or your mortgage or whatever. Or time to collect, right? JLP will be right back, guys. The lines are full. But first, fake news, not fake news. Commie Nonsense Network CNN reports port workers, so-called workers, from Maine to Texas are threatening a major strike. In other words, not to work. They're threatening not to work this week. That could disrupt the flow of popular products into the United States. Consumers wouldn't necessarily feel the impacts immediately, but experts say that a long port strike could eventually cause shortages of chocolate, booze, which is to say alcohol, and fruit, including bananas and cherries. What a mess, huh? And Helene's damage. The southeastern United States grappling with widespread devastation after Helene, Hurricane Helene, Tropical Storm Helene, whatever it's called now, made landfall this past Thursday as the strongest hurricane on record to slam into Florida's Big Bend region and tore through multiple states, killing at least 95 people. 95. Millions still without power. Authorities warn electricity could be a week away or longer in some areas. In the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, days of unrelenting flooding have turned roads into waterways. It's like halfway up or more of the buildings. It's crazy. Left many without basic necessities and strained state resources. The so-called president, crooked Joe Biden, he will visit some of the affected communities later this week. Quote, as soon as it will not disrupt emergency response operations. So said the black on the inside White House on Sunday. Middle East, Israeli airstrikes hit an intersection of the Lebanese capital of Beirut. Is it Beirut or Beirut? Today, the first time the strikes have landed within the city limits since October 7th. The attack comes days after Israel assassinated Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. In recent weeks, Israel has expanded their attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen, stoking fears of a regional war as Hezbollah pledged to continue fighting despite losses in its senior ranks. Crooked Joe Biden, the so-called president of America, said he is working like HE double toothpicks. Working like, don't say this, kids, but hell, so says he, with allies to prevent an all-out war in the Middle East. Before Nasrallah's killing, the Hezbollah leader, Israeli Prime Minister based Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu, he brushed off a ceasefire proposal brokered by the phony United States so-called leadership right now. Nice. And the vice presidential debate. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is the nominee for the Demon Rats, and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance for the Republicans are gearing up for a high-stakes debate Tuesday, 5 weeks before Election Day, by the way, just over a month away. The Walz-Vance matchup may be the last debate of the 2024 election, unprecedented in modern presidential campaigns, with our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, rejecting calls from the phony vice president cackling Kamala Harris to agree to a second meeting, including one proposed by Commie Nonsense Network for October 23rd. With a tight race entering the closing stretch and early voting underway in several states, at least a few, the running mates showdown Tuesday in New York promises to be one of the last major opportunities to make the case for their respective tickets. The debate will be hosted by far-left extremist CBS and will begin at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Tuesday. That's 6 Pacific, 8 Central. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP.
Got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show already. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. Brand new biblical question for this week. And if you missed yesterday's fellowship, we discussed it briefly. You can podcast yesterday's fellowship at rebuildingtheman.com/show. And you can listen to what we had to say, the discussion of the last week biblical question, why is your life one collision after another one? This week is a doozy. rebuildingtheman.com/church, all right? This week, It's a doozy. It really, Mama Mia, all the biblical questions are amazing. It's for those who want to overcome. It's not for everyone. If you don't want it, don't take it. Walk away, turn away, and stay in your hell. Brand new biblical question. Do you recognize a wave of pain that overtake you? Do you recognize a wave of pain that overtakes you? Do you recognize a wave of pain that overtakes you? Isn't that like an amazing question? You can listen to the show if you're busy doing something, you can't sit and watch it. You can podcast, of course, but you can be listening no matter where you are or what you're doing. Anywhere in the whole wide world. We are heard around the world by everybody and their mama if you're white, and everybody and they mama if you're black. You can be listening to the show on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. Isn't that amazing? And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. It's Monday. It's the second hour of Monday. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. What the? It's Monday. And every Monday is Female Monday.
I like to make men uncomfortable.
All my life I had to fight.
Let women take over.
Some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men.
I proudly say I'm a feminist. Thank you.
Deep in their soul, they want to be home with those babies. We've been lied to for so long.
Female Monday. Let me go quickly to Justin, a first-time caller out of Florida. Justin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse. How are you doing?
All is well.
I had a spiritual question that I wrote down for you. Is it wrong of me to avoid church, want my kids to go and be saved?
Repeat that.
My spiritual question, Jesse, is it wrong of me to avoid church but want my kids to go and be saved?
What does it mean to go to church and be saved?
Well, from my understanding, from what I grew up, and I could be wrong, to go to church and be saved would be not only going like every Sunday and giving thanks to God and, you know, being amongst like-minded folks that are also, you know, serving, but being baptized and just overall trying to get into the kingdom of heaven.
Did that work for you?
No, because I'm a sinner, and I stopped going to church because I didn't want to disappoint God and live in hypocrisy.
And so it didn't work for you when you were trying it, right?
Yes, but I could honestly say, too, at the same time, in my younger years, because I've been avoiding church for so long, that I really didn't take church or God seriously until I had my kid, and now it's like I've been going, and every now and again, and it's like I feel good when I go, but I look at it for my daughter. It's like I want her to be better off than I am.
How old is your daughter?
She's 6 months, and
so you only have one child?
At the moment, and so, got another one coming on the way.
So why are you thinking about church for your children now they're so young? I mean, your child's so young.
Well, I was about that young too, and I was introduced into the church. My family grew up in a Pentecostal church, and I figured, if that was the traditional way of upbringing kids into church, why break tradition?
I got you. And so you say you go to church sometimes now?
Yes, sometimes now.
And is it helping you now?
It does. Like, it makes me feel good. And I have a different outlook on life than, as you like to say, the hell that you live in. And it's really given me a different outlook on life as a whole since I've been going back, and finding out that the people that also do come to church are kind of like-minded and also sinners of themselves.
And so have you forgiven your mother?
Yes.
You told her?
I told her I forgave her.
And what did she say?
That she's thankful, but still to this day, she likes to apologize for how she raised me. But I tell her, you just did the best you could with what you knew while you were 20 when you had me.
And did you forgive your father for not protecting you from her?
No.
And why not?
He really wasn't around in the beginning. Now I would say me and him have a better relationship, but as far as 100%, I forgave you or whatnot, I could say I moved on from it. It doesn't bother me, but to say all is forgiven and done, it's kind of hard to wrap my mind around, to be honest with you.
It's hard to wrap your mind around forgiving your father?
Just on that end.
I'm sorry?
If I'm wrong, I'd like you to tell me how wrong I am, because I also can admit, sometimes my thinking is very wrong and sometimes ignorant.
How will you love God if you don't love your earthly father?
That's a good question. I have not thought about that. Oof. Little bomb you hit me with there. Gee, that's a great question, and I'm kind of stumped. You got me, Jesse.
And so what does that say to you now?
Not that it's pointless, but that I got to do better. I'm going to have to call my father after I'm done with you and forgive him.
Because you're never going to get to the Father unless you go through the Son. And your father represents the Son of God. He may have been a weak one, or he may have been lost, but he's still the Son of God. And if you don't love the Son, you're never going to love the Father.
Understood.
And so as far as your kid, you don't even need to be thinking about your kids going to church. You just need to work on you, and you will become the light for your family, and your kids will become whatever you are. And so don't think about church. Your kid's just a little baby. They don't need church right now. They just need you to be right, to be of love.
Understood, Jesse. Sorry, I don't mean to be all emotional on the phone.
No, that's fine. I understand it. So forget about the church for your kids. You just work on you. Forgive your father, do the silent prayer, stay present with God, and he will work through you and your kids will be fine.
Yes, sir.
You are the church for your children.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what that means?
Your body is the temple of God, and inside of that body, that house, is where God dwells. God is there, Christ is there, and the teacher is there, the Holy Spirit. And as long as you live from there, your kids will be fine and you will be fine. Church is set up to fellowship and edify one another, but most churches don't know how to do that. They just sing and dance and read the Bible and then hoop and holler and go home, and they're still the same. But
I agree.
Yeah, so that's just a waste of time and a building of the ego. But your body is where God is, and you'll be fine if you live from there.
Understood. I've been watching you for a little bit, and I absolutely love the morals and the knowledge you teach and drop. And me as a young man, being able to witness, you giving this truth out to people, and for free at that, is amazing. And, I'm glad I had the opportunity to call you and have that question answered.
Yeah, don't worry about the church for them. Are you doing the silent prayer?
I'm going to join the silent prayer later, yes.
Yeah, start doing that and stay with it so you can stay present instead of living in your head about the past or the future. That's where Satan dwells. Satan dwells in an illusion of the past or the future. God dwells in right now. He's always right here, right now, now. He's always now. And so you want to practice keeping your mind with now so that God can guide you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Jesse, for your time.
You're welcome.
I'm going to continue to watch your show. Stay blessed and keep teaching these people the amazing knowledge you have.
I will. And thank you. And you stay with it. Let me know how it goes.
Will do, sir.
Amazing. 888-7753. 773-888-77 Jesse. KARL, a first-time caller out of Nevada. KARL, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on
KARL.
there, point and click, get in there, talk about www.call me.
KARL, you sound like you out somewhere. It's not clear. I'm gonna let Derek talk to you about your phone. And tell him he can't be promoting anything. Super chat. Super.
Sion bought a coffee over on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. This is from Friday. Aw, Jesse, left eye is barely open. Hanks will put all the blacks in the plantation if he becomes in charge of the police department. I feel so cringe when a man gets ordered at the job by our female boss. It's like he's afraid and his face is all puppy who's in trouble. Puppy eyes or spiral eyes. Ew, not manly at all. Thank you, Sion.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sounds like 3 or 4 or 5 different thoughts in one.
Yeah, so I'm totally confused.
Yeah.
She said, Jesse, left eye is barely open.
From Friday, I don't know.
What?
Looks open to me.
Looks open to me, too. And what was the second thing?
Hanks will put all the blacks on the plantation if he becomes in charge of the police department? ?
That's true. No.
And then men getting ordered around by their female bosses, and then he's afraid of them.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Thank you, Sion. Not quite real clear, but it's early. And I understand it.
It was Friday after a long week.
Right. Thank you, Sion.
King Alpha Nerd bought a coffee. Hey, Tony. Tony from California called in on Friday, I guess.
Tony said, let the woman lead.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't even know what to say.
Indeed. He says, put the fentanyl down and perk your ears up for a minute. Whisper this. Oh, Kamala Harris is not black. She is Irish Hindu. Have a nice day. Thank you, King Alpha Nerd.
Thank you. Amazing.
Zach bought a coffee. The majority of people in this world are possessed and are harboring evil spirits inside their bodies. How can we cast away these demonic entities if we are possessed? Thanks.
Thank you. All human beings are possessed. Every man, every woman. There's not one that's not. And there's a handful, 5%, give or take, that's working on overcoming it. But most people don't know that they're possessed. They think that they are their thoughts and their feelings, and they thrive on it. And it brings nothing but misery. A fake good feeling for a minute, and then it's down. And then a fake good bad feeling, and then back up to the fake good. Both are evil. So all human beings, all. I don't care who you are and where you are, what language, every human being must be born again if they want to be free. They got to overcome the nature of their imagination, the darkness. Amazing. Thank you.
Chris on X, the Black Panther, checking in with JLP.
Hey, Chris. What
nice. Good to see you, man.
Chris was on the fallerstate.tv. Did an amazing job. Check him out. Good morning, Chris. Amazing.
C-Bill 3 coffees. Tony from California is just like Mama. He has the mindset of a liberal woman. Beta. Laughing face sideways.
Can you imagine a male saying, well, let the woman lead. Might well let the woman lead. The men screwed up, so might well. What? That doesn't even make sense. I don't even understand that. I do understand it because I understand the spirit behind it, but my country is gone. It's gone. Ain't no use in praying for it no more. It's gone. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That handyman with a Rumble rant this past Friday. The high-speed rail in California took tens of thousands of acres from white farmers. Mays' evil heart is why America is gone. Mays called in on Friday too, huh? Or sometime.
So what's going on?
The high-speed rail in California took tens of thousands of acres by land grab,
right?
From white farmers up and down California.
Really? And then what about Mays?
Mays' evil heart is why America is gone.
Did she say something about that or something?
I forget what she's always talking about white people and stuff. CWPs, Caucasian white people.
Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you, that handyman.
Yeah.
Someone bought 3 coffees. Hi, Jesse. My son is 18 and is not looking for a job. He stays quiet, says it is going well when I ask him about his job hunting. I have a growing startup business, and he works well with me when we have a job. He is interested in going to school and is registering for college. Should I support him through college, or do I need to kick him out of the house?
Do what you want, but I recommend if you want to go to college, let him get a job and pay his own way through college. You should not do what you want, but you're hurting him by letting him stay with you with no job and talking about going to college. Again, you got to let him start making it on his own. You're not going to always be around to take care of him, and if you keep him down now, he's going to be kept down the rest of his life. Amazing. I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone with your 3 coffees. Charles bought a coffee. Hey, Jesse, a guy hijacked a bus in Atlanta a few months ago as well. You reported on the hijacking in L.A.?
It's happening a lot in L.A.
Don't know whether you covered it, but it was a very wild story. Everywhere there are Democrats, especially black Democrats, these things are happening.
And Rhino Republicans, they're allowing it too. Be not deceived. Rhino Republicans are one with the Democrats. They are not for us. Believe me. But you're right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Elizabeth, 5 coffees. Buenos dias, Jesse. Dímelo.
Sí.
¿Qué lo que?
Chelote.
Answer to the biblical question from last week.
why is your life one collision after another?
My life was once one collision after another when I had anger. Once I forgave and let the anger go and began to do the silent prayer, then I noticed the collisions stopped. Now I am conscious, staying present, trusting God with all my heart, soul, and might, and I have no more collisions. Bendiciones para ti y todo tu equipo.
Sí. Gracias.
Blessings for you and your whole team.
Thank
Something
you.
like that.
You too. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Shout out to last week's top contributors on D-Live, Games for Rec Wolf 336, Misty, Kid Combo 1, Groovy Monkey, GG Cash, Cactus Eater Bear, and Army Ann. Thank you guys and gals for the support. in the D-Live
Amazing.
crew.
Thank you.
And
nice.
That's that for the Friday Super
Didn't
Chats.
want to play the applause.
I'm waiting for James to finish talking about which Super Chats he's finishing because he's just doing
That's that for the Friday Super Chats.
Oh.
And Sunday and Monday
nice.
coming next.
We'll come back to that. Amazing. Thank you all very, very much. Let me go to Jennifer out of Colorado. Jennifer, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Jennifer?
Yes, can you hear me?
You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
All is well. Are there
so
some people in the background? Your radio on or something?
Oh, no, I'm watching your show on Rumble. I'm sorry. I forgot to turn it down. I wasn't expecting to be on that quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So I heard a guy, Justin, call earlier, and it kind of reminded me because I grew up in a really messed up situation with my dad and my stepmom. My dad put me in a situation where it wasn't a very good situation, and I forgive, and my dad still doesn't. I mean, he said he wants to have a relationship with me, but he really, I don't know if he does or not because he don't talk to me or nothing. So technically, I just took that as a loss, and I told him I forgave him, and that's the last time that he had talked to me. And I don't understand it because I've grown up a lot. I'm 3 years sober from drugs, and I'm trying to be and have my best life right now with my husband and our 4 children. And I listen to your shows because it really helps me to understand more, and my husband also, you know, he leads me in the right directions, and he's there when I need him. And I see this as because I forgave my dad, like I'm getting more and more blessings every day, I guess you could say.
And so your question for me is what?
Oh, it was about, like, do you think because I forgave him, he stopped talking to me?
I don't know, but I would highly recommend that you not even think about that at all. You have forgiven him, forget about him, and now forget about him and move on with your life. You have your own family, and you don't need him at all.
All right. Well, thank you, Jesse, for the advice.
Just don't be angry at him.
Oh, no.
But don't worry about calling him. Don't think about how he feels about you. You move on and just work on you and take care of your family. Did you forgive your mother?
Yeah, I forgive my mom.
Right on. Are you doing the silent prayer now?
Yes.
Well, just do it. Make sure you stay with that, and then practice staying out of your head about the past or the future and that kind of mess.
Yeah, I forgive, and my grandma, she always taught me to forgive and love your neighbor as yourself.
Yep.
And I keep up with the 10 Commandments and stuff, so.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, do the silent prayer and take care of your family, and just in your heart wish your father well, but move on and forget about him.
All right. Thank you.
I wish you well, Jennifer.
Thank you. You too.
All right. 888-7753. 773-888. What a mess. 77 Jesse. Ty is from Louisiana. Ty, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Ty.
How you doing? Great show today.
All is well. Thank you.
I kind of feel like one of the reasons why I love your show so much is that I really relate to your teachings, but also the people that call in, I can see myself in them. And this morning's kind of been a lot about the silent prayer and how to do it properly, I guess. I just wanted to tell you about my experience with it. So I do the silent prayer pretty regularly, but it's mostly just when I'm going throughout my day and I realize the thoughts are kind of becoming overwhelming. So I kind of go into that prayer wherever I'm at, and then it sort of dissipates from there. But you tell people to keep going and stay with it. I feel like I'm at a point right now where I feel like it's just getting hard, and want to turn back. Do you know what the word nihilism means?
No.
The definition is a viewpoint that traditional values and beliefs are unfolded and that existence is senseless and useless. And so I feel like instead of hearing from God more, it's like I've kind of come into that world where nothing matters anymore. And if you say we're supposed to be still and know God, how do we know God if we don't listen to our thoughts? And how does God communicate with you? Is it a feeling?
Amazing question. Hold on to your little nihilism and let me take a break.
Sure.
Let me take a quick break. A very interesting question. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment. I recommend you get a copy of my book, From Rage to Responsibility. I write about how the spirit of anger was taken away from me 29 years ago. I forgave my mother who tried to turn me away from my father, and I returned to my father, and through him, my father on earth, and through him, I was able to return to God. No man or woman can return to God unless you go through the Son. And men are sons of God. There may be weak, pathetic examples of it, but it's the spiritual order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. So get From Rage to Responsibility. I write about that. Go to my website, rebuildingtheman.com for an autographed copy, or call 800-411-BOND. And donate to my nonprofit, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. The Hake Report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. The Hake, H-A-K-E, thehakereport.com from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then after the Hake Report, Joel Friday TV, he back at 11 a.m. today. And every day, Monday through Thursday, Joel Friday TV. And at 2 p.m., we don't have Punchy TV. I know that, don't we supposed to have like a guest on there or something? Yeah. Do we have the announcement for it?
Announcement? When you say, yeah, there's basically, we're going to have a guest on Punchy TV today at 2 p.m. live.
What am I supposed to say? Who is it?
Susanna Weiss.
Okay. At 2 p.m. Huh?
Sorry, go on.
At 2 p.m. Pacific time, Punchy TV, and there's a guest, and you don't want to miss this. Susanna White, and she was on the Father State, I think a couple of times, and she's going to be on Punchy TV today at 2 p.m. Watch this.
Nothing to play for that.
Oh, that's before? Oh, Lord. Okay. At 2 p.m. And then at 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so that's the lineup for today. Get ready. I want to go back to Ty out of Louisiana. So, Ty, if you could restate your question for me, I would appreciate it. Ty?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking how you push through the roadblocks, like on the spiritual journey with the silent prayer. When I feel like I'm trying to know God, as you say, but it's just real quiet, and I feel like I almost feel like I knew God more when I was a Bible thumper several years ago, but I didn't have real peace. And then right when I started listening to you about a year ago, I started to feel the freedom that I didn't have to obey my thoughts. So I'm just asking how you know the voice of God now, if you can't listen to or you shouldn't trust your thoughts. How do you know when God is communicating with you to take the next step?
You would know when you realize that you don't know God and that you have never known him. Back in the days when you thought you knew him, you did not know him. You just into your head with ideas and imagination about God, but you have never known him. You knew him as a little kid, baby kid, before you were traumatized, but you have never known him. And so when you let go of the idea that you know God, then you will know him. You will recognize his voice, and you will know him when you can admit that you don't know him.
Okay. So my next question would be, a lot of Bible thumpers that I kind of came up with, they really put the Bible as like a concrete, like they can lean on the Bible as though it is God, and it's like a guide for them. But I don't see that that's your teaching. I kind of feel like I don't even know if I trust the Bible anymore. So just kind of, I need something to fill up the space that my old religion had.
Beautiful.
And don't really know what else to do.
Do nothing. Leave the space empty. The Bible thumpers, the people who are into the Bible, they have fulfilled the space of God with knowledge. And all they have is empty knowledge, and they have no peace. I promise you, they are miserable, they are angry, they are lost, they're lonely, they're suicidal, they are gossip, they try to get revenge, they're jealous, they have no peace at all, and all they have is empty knowledge about God, but they don't know him at all. Now that space is empty, Do not fulfill that empty space with anyone or anything, and the Father will fulfill that for you, and you will know the Father. Leave your glass empty, and He will fulfill it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep listening. I'll keep at it, but I know this is a lot of, we kind of been going over the same conversation all morning. But if I can leave you with this one verse that I heard, and then you can move on. But Isaiah 26:3, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. And I feel like that is kind of what you say. I don't know if you ever heard that verse.
I promise you, and without a doubt, not because of somebody else said or anything, if you stay present instead of lost in your head in this false illusion about the past or the future, but just stay present, then you will have perfect peace. But if you go into the imagination, thinking about the past or the future, or what you think you want or don't want, and thinking that you know God and don't know God, you're never going to have perfect peace. You got to stay present rather than going into this illusion. The imagination is an illusion. There's nothing real about it at all. And that's why the Prince of Darkness and all his little helpers work overtime to keep you in time rather than allow you to be in now. God and the kingdom of heaven is right here, right now, all the time.
Yeah.
And so this emptiness that you're starting to feel, like nothing matters, and the things I used to be interested in, I am no more, I'm not no more anymore, or I don't care about being around folks. If I do, fine. If I don't, that's where you want to be, because you're overcoming the world. You're overcoming the imagination. And you got to have perfect peace. If you stay with it, you got to have the kingdom of heaven right here on earth inside of you. There's another life. There's another way to live. There is the real kingdom inside of you. And you are on your way to living in that rather than the illusion of the world.
Sure. I wanted to ask about lost creativity, like you had said, or I was saying that I don't really care much about what's going on right now. It's like I lost my creativity. I used to write, words and music and build things, and now I don't see any reason to. So I hope I get past this. I'm just wondering if you experienced that at any point.
If you feel like writing, sit down and write, but don't write to get an ego feeling or false identity from it. If you feel like building, build, but not to get a sense of life from it. A building is just a building. Writing is just writing. Do not call it you. Don't be happy or sad about it. Just do it and let it happen naturally.
I feel like when I did write, that's why I was doing it. That was almost what drove me. And now that that's gone, I don't have anything driving it because, maybe like original art wants to point back at the artist like, oh, this guy is special. He did that. And that's what I was aiming for.
Yeah.
Realizing now it was mostly ego driven.
Yes.
And so now feeling the ego die, maybe just getting older. Also, when it comes to art and expressing yourself, I'm a middle-aged white man. Like, our world is not listening to middle-aged white men right now, so I don't know what to say. I almost don't want to express myself to this world anymore.
Well, don't worry about that. If you have the talent to write, it's from God. He's giving you the ability to write and to create art. Just let it happen and don't worry about who will accept it, who will not. It will be the right person or people will see it and they will accept it. Don't have this in your mindset that white people are not being listened to. You're coming from a different place now. You're coming from a life within. And then within, somebody else is in control of that, not Satan. So you'll be fine.
All right.
So,
I appreciate you, Jesse.
Yeah, just use your talent and write and create. And don't worry about who will or will not accept or see it. That's not your concern. But you use your talent if God has given it to you to do it, and be grateful for it, and do it with a sense of appreciation.
Thy will be done, I guess. Whatever he wants me to do, we'll see.
And you're going to write and create like you've never done before, because now it would be natural rather than ego-driven.
I hope so. Thank you, Jesse.
And you stay with it, man, no matter what. You stay with watching, staying present, and letting life happen.
I'm on my way.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you all, y'all.
You're welcome. 888-7753-773. Let me go to, there's one line open. Let me go to Gary, our first time call out of California. Gary, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. What a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how much you've helped me in my life, but especially the last couple of years. I lost my son to fentanyl about 2 years ago.
How old was he?
And he was 27.
May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you. And I'm sober, and I got sober a few months before that happened. And I remain sober. I'm still sober. But I was having such a hard time with the guilt. Like, I didn't do things right. Every parent makes a ton of mistakes raising their kids and everything. And what had happened was I started listening to you. And I forgave my parents. I did the silent prayer. And when I forgave my parents, I realized that because I realized that they did the best they could. And I really realized that in my heart. Because I've got good, I know you say nobody's good, but I got good parents, But
what the?
So I was thinking, man, I look back and I did the best I could at the time with my son.
Yes.
And I started to cut myself a lot of slack.
Right on.
And that guilt would keep me in bed sometimes for days, like 6 months to a year later. And once I started to forgive myself, I forgave my parents, I forgave myself, and I've been free, man. Here's the thing that's bothering me lately.
Yes.
Right? I've been really judgmental on a good friend of mine. And I can realize that it's my ego because I'm watching him blow up his life through his thoughts. I used to have these thoughts and I would follow them, like, oh, you need a girlfriend. And then I would go out and search for a girlfriend. And then it would be like the wrong woman.
Yep.
And I'm watching him just implode his life. And he asks me, what should I do? And I try to tell him to listen to you. He's watched you a couple times, but he doesn't listen. And I'm watching his life just get worse and worse and worse because he listens to every thought. And I'm really judgmental. Like I'm like, I don't even want to call him anymore because he's not. It's like he's not listening. And I care about him, but I don't want to be judgmental because I know that's just my ego.
All right.
But it's like I'm stuck there. I've been stuck there for a couple weeks now, very judgmental. And how do I get through that?
By just watching those thoughts. Just watch. Now that you're aware that those thoughts are trying to make you judge, just know that it's not you. And when you speak to him, do not give him any advice unless he asks for it. And then you give him your best advice. And if he doesn't take it, be done with giving him advice and just let him suffer. He has a right to live a screwed up life. And you don't have a right to try to do anything about it.
Right. Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, just let him suffer. He has a right to be wrong. And if you notice, God leaves him right in his hell, in his misery, and God let him pick the wrong woman every time, let him make the wrong decisions every time, because God is not going to interfere with anyone that doesn't want to change. So you should be the same way. Don't judge him. He loves his misery.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to be miserable anymore.
Right.
I don't want that misery anymore.
But he does, though, it sounds.
Yeah.
So don't judge him. He has a right to be that way. And if you don't feel like talking to him, you don't have to. But just don't judge him. If you want to talk to him, talk to him. Don't judge him. But
right,
because
I was the same way. I was exactly the same way. That's why him and I got along so well. We would laugh at stuff like that, like laugh at our stupid mistakes over and over again in life.
Yes.
And I can see a big change in myself.
So
I'm starting to change.
Be grateful that you can see and wish him well, but do not try to force anything upon him. Don't give him any advice unless he asks. And then if he asks, but and then he doesn't take it, then you stop giving him advice. Don't give him any more.
Okay, that's where I'm at now. I just gotta, because he asks, but then, he actually gets upset with me.
Why?
Because he says I don't believe in that Jesse Lee Peterson stuff. You can believe in it. I don't believe in it.
So then
I said, okay, well,
right. So then, okay, don't ask for advice then. I won't give you any advice.
Right. Okay. Well,
and so
I got to tell you, thank you.
You're welcome. And watch those thoughts that try to, because it's the thoughts that try to put him down in your imagination. Say, oh, look at him. He's still this. He's still that.
And they're not my thoughts.
Right. Yeah. They're not your thoughts at all. Not one iota. And then the thought.
I have to be reminded that.
The thought give you things to think about concerning him. And then the thought tell you, oh, you're judging him. You look at you. You think you're better. You're judging him.
Right.
But so you still believe in those thoughts. They're not real. They're lying to you.
Right. Okay.
As long as you're not angry at him, the sign of judgment is when you're angry at someone for the way they are, or they don't want the truth, or this and that. If you become angry at a person for being what they are, then you're judging. But you think about it, those are thoughts. That's not you.
Okay. Okay.
What a mess.
What a mess. You brought so much joy into my life and so much peace. I can't tell you. I'm a truck driver, so I've got you on 3 hours a day, every day.
I appreciate that.
And then I listen to church on Sunday. So,
right on. Well,
you're
stay
awesome,
with
Jesse. Thank you.
You stay with it. I cannot find the words to express to you the joy, the perfect peace that will come upon you if you stay with this. You stay with the prayer. You watch the thoughts. If you catch yourself lost in a thought, don't judge. Just come back to the present. Realize, oh, I was in a thought. No big deal. If you have to do that 1,000 times a minute or a day, if you just stay with it, there are no words to express the joy, the peace that will overtake you, the simplicity to life that would naturally overtake you. And you will live through it, and you will have nothing to do with it, but it will have control of you.
No, that's great to know. I've had glimpses of it since I've been listening to you and since I did the silent prayer and forgave my parents.
Yeah, yeah. I've
had moments of that peace. But I want to thank you. I can't thank you enough. So
you're welcome.
And what you teach works so well with the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, like what you teach.
Nice.
It works so well.
Right on.
So thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, Gary. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. No matter what. If the whole world turn against you, if your wife, your kids, your mama, your cat, your dog, everybody turn against you, you stay with it. They can't help themselves.
I will.
All right.
I guarantee it. I'll check in with you later.
Absolutely. Take care,
Thank
buddy.
you, Jesse.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. 888-7753-773. Super chat. Super.
James bought a coffee on Sunday. I have hope for our country and myself because I know God always wins.
Hope is for dope. You want to know. You don't want to hope. Hope is for dope. But I wish you well. I understand what you mean. I know what you're saying. Amazing. Thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Thanks, Jesse and crew. Hake is beta back.
Bear. Thank you.
Someone else bought a coffee. No message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone bought 3 coffees. It's been just over a year since I've forgiven. It's interesting to me how I've changed. I may not know who I am all the time, but I also barely remember who I was.
Absolutely.
So the thoughts come and go. Sometimes they take me, sometimes they don't. Either way, I have no opinion about it. Almost like the thoughts are now subject to me. How beautiful it is once you forgive. Thank you.
That's deep. You fill my life with so much joy. I can hardly remember how I was before. I know sometimes we disagree, but I still know I love you and you love me. Amazing. Stay with it. Quick break. 1 more hour to go. Hate news, not the fake news. Be back in a moment. On this side of heaven, I counsel with men and women, families, and individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy. They're miserable. They have rough lives. They're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. This is the end of hour 2. There was a chemical plant fire. Did you guys hear about that? In the state of Georgia, in the United States, not to be confused with the country. What a mess. And SpaceX saving the day. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Female Monday, September 30th, AD 2024. There is one line open. You can call in right now during Hake News, Not Fake News. And JLP will be back in the 3rd hour of Female Monday to your calls. Men and women are welcome to call in. The ladies get special priority today. After the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, thehakereport.com. And then Joel Friday TV. And then a live special episode of Punchy TV with a special guest co-host and a special guest. That should be interesting. And then, of course, American Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Punchy TV is at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 Central, 5 Eastern. Punchy TV on YouTube. Nice. Commie Nonsense Network, CNN reports a reaction following a fire at a Georgia chemical plant on Sunday. Forced evacuations, shelter-in-place advisories, and interstate road closures. Major fire. The blaze broke out on the roof of Biolab, capital B-I-O, capital L-A-B, all one word, in Conyers, Georgia, about 30 miles east of Atlanta. Officials say a malfunctioned sprinkler head came in contact with a water-reactive chemical and produced a plume. The fire was put out Sunday evening, but the smoke may be visible for several days, or at least a few, maybe several. Officials said, adding that the air quality surveys revealed the harmful irritant chlorine emitting from the facility. What a mess, huh? Who knew that water could cause such a problem, reacting with other chemicals? And SpaceX, after their week-long journey, turned into a months-long stay on the ISS, International Space is Real station. The two Boeing Starliner astronauts are now within reach of the spacecraft that will eventually bring them home. The SpaceX, not to be confused with Boeing, SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule chosen by NASA, which does not mean lies. I checked the fact check. If you believe the liberal fact checkers, it does not mean lies, which I believe them in this case. To carry the astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore back to Earth after their Boeing Starliner spacecraft was deemed too risky for a crewed return, the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule has arrived at the space station. The vehicle on a mission called Crew-9, docked at the ISS about 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday. Suni Williams, and Butch Wilmore expected to return home no earlier than February. And we're in what? We're in September. Tomorrow's the 1st of October. All of October, all of November, all of December, all of January. More than 4 months. More than 4 months, even though that SpaceX ship is right there. What a mess. So we wish them well, right? Don't get bored. Or if you do get bored, don't get antsy. If you do get antsy, suffer. Anyway, this is bad news. America's Greyhound bus stations, I don't know if it's bad news, are disappearing though. I took a Greyhound one time, maybe more than once. Chicago is on the verge of losing their only intercity meaning between cities, bus terminal. Its closure could threaten access, communist buzzword, for low-income and elderly travelers with few other transportation options. Thanks a lot, Obama, Biden, Kamala Harris, lamos, destroying the economy so that we don't have our Greyhounds anymore that travel from city to city and up states and stuff like that. Crazy, huh? And rest in peace to Chris Christopherson. He died at his home in Maui, Hawaii. He was a singer, songwriter, and actor at tender age of 88. Gone too soon. We wish him and his family well. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 3.
Got to stand up strong, think the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show already. What the third hour already? What the? You can get involved by calling 888-7753, 773-888-77-JESSE. My biblical question, a doozy. Listen up. Do you recognize a wave of pain that overtakes you? Do you recognize a wave of pain that overtakes you? Do you recognize that when it happens? Do ya? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about, no matter what you're doing and where you are, you're trying to be a part of the DEI program. You try to get a job knowing that you're not qualified, but because of your color, or male or female, right? But not qualified. If you're doing drugs, if you are robbing somebody right now to get some money to get some drugs, if you're on fentanyl, if you're selling fentanyl, if you having a withdrawal thing happening from fentanyl, no matter what you're doing, or you just sit up in church reading the Bible, in the Word, you can be listening to the show. You can podcast the show, and then you can listen to the show by calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. You could be listening to this show live, even if you hate white people, even if you love some people but hate the rest, even if you don't love your neighbor, even if you don't love all people, or you do love all people. You've learned the lesson that the right way is to love all, even your enemy. You can be listening to the show, all right? Anywhere in the world. Even if you're having a panic attack right now, you can be listening to the show. Isn't that amazing? By calling 605-615-4131, and then you can podcast later. Podcast the show. To donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. You fill my life with so much joy. I can hardly remember how I was before. Amazing. I know sometimes we disagree, but I still know I love you and you love me. With you and me and the Lord above, we have serenity. We have serenity. Amazing. It is Monday. And every Monday is and always will be Female Monday. All my life, I had to fight. I love irritating men, she says.
I like to make men uncomfortable.
All my life I had to fight.
Let women take over.
Some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men.
I proudly say I'm a feminist.
I would
Thank
too.
you.
Deep in their soul, they want to be home with those babies.
Yeah.
We've been lied to for so long.
Amazing. I want to quickly show you a man from the old school. I spoke about him yesterday in our fellowship. And I said in the fellowship, I want this man to be my daddy, my earthly daddy. But I'm playing about that. I love my earthly daddy. And I will always love my earthly father. But this man that I'm about to show you sounds like he's from the old school. And he taught his sons and daughters to be even better than he is. And he appreciates that now. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. I want to interview Elon Musk and Donald Trump and all that. But then a friend of mine, Francisco, sent me this interview of Elon Musk's daddy, his father, earthly father. I didn't even know Elon Musk had a daddy. I knew he had one, but I didn't know, I had never thought about him. I had not thought about him. And so this weekend I saw this interview of Elon Musk, father. And I'm like, now I understand Elon better. It was what I thought was an amazing conversation. And it wasn't like spiritual, deep kind of thing that he didn't appear to try to be. He was just having a regular conversation, answering questions that were asked of him. And it was amazing. So I wanted to share just a couple of those sound bites with you. Elon, here's where Elon was on a show called Disruptive Podcast. And Elon's father, his father was on the show. And Elon's father's race, he talked about his relationship and his desire for his children to do better than him. Watch this.
So, I mean, do you have a good relationship with Elon?
Oh, yes. No, I have a very good relationship with Elon. Elon and Kimball bought me a Bentley. That's very nice of them. I didn't really ask for it, but I really like it. But they have their own lives. I don't interfere in their lives. I do give them advice. The boys, Elon and Kimball, grew up with me until they left school. My daughter lived with their mother, but was also with us most of the time on holidays. So, yeah, I have a very good relationship with them. The kind of relationship that I would like to have is what I have. I can't imagine having children who do less well than I did. I mean, I think that's the worst thing that can happen to a father is your sons especially do worse than you did. I mean, you want your sons to do better than you did.
Amazing. That's the old school mentality. So apparently the daughters went to live with the mother and the sons went to live with him after they broke up. He and his wife broke up, I guess. And he wanted his sons and daughter to do better than him, to have a better life. Do you remember the good old days when your parents prepared you for that? They didn't know what better life you're going to have, which way you're going to go, but they prepared you. They taught you to work. They taught you to be an independent thinker. They taught you to be free and go out there and deal with the world. And you can't go wrong when that happens. He taught his sons to be that way. He looked like Elon, or Elon looked like him, and he sounded like him. I didn't know Elon even had a daddy. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense. And in that interview, he talks about how when Elon was a teenager, how much money he made from building rockets and things like that. Things like that. And Hake is coming in because I got to ask Hake about another man that this man mentioned. And he made such a profound point about it. It made me think all weekend and wonder about it. So that's what he's talking about. He wanted his sons to be better than him. Elon bought him a Mercedes. No, a Rolls Royce. He didn't ask for it. He just bought it. Elon's father on his experience living in South Africa included an incident where he shot 3 people in self-defense with 2 bullets. Here's the first soundbite.
You know, I live in South Africa. We don't have an easy situation people here we have an unemployment situation of about 60%. We have no government department that functions anymore. We have every possible bad thing that you can think of. The only thing that's keeping the country alive is the remaining, I would say, European element that's here. If they weren't here, we'd be like Zimbabwe. And Yeah, so it's it's common sense. It's not like I'm saying bad things. All people have their values, but generally, in terms of running a first-rate country, that takes a different kind of person.
That is so deep. I didn't know what to do with it, and it's so true. It's like it's true. The Western culture work, the other don't. And now the government is so destroyed there that it's becoming Zimbabwe because the Western culture is fading away. It's been taken away. Isn't that amazing? I want to ask Hake about that in a minute. He a Western person. Here's the last soundbite from, his name is Errol Musk, right?
Errol.
Errol?
I think. Errol.
Errol Musk, the father of Elon Musk. And Musk can be nice. Watch this.
Now, here you have to carry a gun. Whether it's licensed or not, you have to carry it. You can't send your children out of the house to the shop. They can't walk to the shop. I believe England's becoming like that now. They're making a very big attempt to make it like that in England. We don't live in a budget cage. I've actually killed 3 people who broke into our house. It was self-defense.
Wow.
Well, they fired 52 shots at me, and I fired 2 shots at them. And
you killed 3 people with 2 shots.
I killed 3 people with 2 shots. But I was 11 years in the military here, and I'm good with guns. And so Elon is quite good with guns. And it's not that I like guns. It's that I had to.
Amazing. There was something else he said in that interview that you need to see the whole thing. I recommend it. I really recommend it. What's the name of that guy that he mentioned and the government destroyed him?
Man, I'm blanking because at first you said Patrick Henry, but
not.
it totally wasn't Patrick Henry.
Right.
And it wasn't Napoleon, was it?
Yes.
Was it Napoleon?
I'm not sure. We'll deal with that later then.
Okay.
But Elon, Errol, is it Errol? Errol Musk made an interesting point. He talked about how bad things are in South Africa right now, and it's as a result of Western culture being destroyed, and Western culture is the only thing that works, and it's so bad there that he killed 3 people in his home. He can't send the kids out to the marketplaces anymore, and blah blah blah. And he said that it's happening the same way in England. And also I noticed that the exact same thing is happening in America as they destroy Western culture. It's nothing but chaos. They're not making it better. They're not improving upon it. They're not taking away a good thing and replacing it with a better thing. It's just become total chaos. So I wanted to ask, because I was thinking about this all weekend once I saw that interview. What is it about white people that seem to be special, for the lack of a better word? Why white people have the know-how to make things work, to be creative, to improve upon, to build upon it, and then no other culture else seems to have that. And whenever they go into the white world, they're not accustomed to having that. They'll destroy it rather than build upon it. What is it about white people that we're missing that nobody else seems to have, Hake? White people have the best hair. So they have that kind of hair you just brush it with your fingers.
That's right.
Or you could wet it with a little water and make it go the way it should.
I haven't seen Mike home in years.
Everybody else have to use Stay Soft Pro. But what is it that And I noticed that in our country, exactly what's happening in Europe and in South Africa is happening here. Our country has been destroyed, but they're getting rid of the white people first. And as white people go, nothing but destruction replaces it. What is it that white people have that it doesn't even seem like the Jews have it?
Right.
What is it that white people have that no one else seems to have?
I mean, they're...
The Jews know how to make money and stuff like that.
Right.
I ain't taking anything away from the Jews. I love the Jews. But what is it that white people seem to have that no one else have?
I don't know what it is. I know that they like things orderly and fair, and the sensible kind of fair, not the mama kind of fair, the logical, manly kind of fair, freedom, stuff like that. I think they like their freedom and their independence.
But they're also very creative. They create beautiful neighborhoods. They create rockets. They create electric cars. They created the car.
Yeah.
And when the white people are in control of the government, they have a smaller government,
right,
a working government, a government that's done by men, ran by men. They build houses and they know how to make the house better. What's that about? That no one else seems to have.
Well, you did say yesterday in church about the men running things.
Yes.
Men being there and men being men. I think that is a big part of it. Like the thinking of the whites is more naturally like manly in my experience. It's not, like you said, the Jews, a lot of them are like liberals, mama spirit.
Right.
And it's part of that is maybe Christianity is a little bit more manly too in its thinking than and more freedom, let people suffer than some of these other religions, I guess. They do say that whites are more adventurous and
Joel, come here. I asked Joel too.
Exploring and
Joel
stuff like
kind
that.
of think he white.
True. He is a little bit white. 30%. Some people say, oh, it's because they came from a colder climate, so they have to think ahead.
I noticed that every race is jealous of the white too. They have like a love-hate for the white.
Right.
They want to be like the whites, but they're jealous of the whites.
Yeah. Accusatory of what they do.
And everybody want that good hair like the whites.
Yeah.
What is it, Joel? Have you noticed that white people are like the leading group in success and, making life work?
Yeah.
And why is it? What is it that the whites have that no one else seems to have?
Well, I think it's less of the color thing, but more of years and years of whites being a good example in their homes, in their family, the way they operate, and they just pass that down.
This Joel from Joel Friday TV at 11 a.m. and an expert here on the JLP show.
Yeah, I don't think that it's a white thing because back then when the blacks when you were raised up, they just did well for themselves and they worked it out.
That's a good point. I mentioned that yesterday. But back then, before the civil rights movement, black people were innovative too. They just kind of did their thing. They built. They had black universities, their school was just fine, right? And it wasn't until the civil rights movement started that the black people lost their way. Also, y'all might not be aware that in California there was a black architect, a person that built buildings, design buildings. What do they call?
Architect.
Architect, and he was black. And he did amazing work in California. His design was everywhere, and people loved it. Yeah. But they got rid of his stuff.
Yeah, it was...
Back in those days.
Yeah. So it did exist at one point. It's just that. But I think now we see whites are more the ones that follow the right path more likely than the blacks. And I've only seen whites be the ones. I ain't never seen blacks be the one or the brown.
Me either. I mean, I haven't in a good old day.
Yeah.
But you ain't never seen it since you've been on Earth. I ain't never seen.
So, yeah, it's like I started to think like maybe. But I do see that it's just they have the values. They hold the values a lot stronger than most blacks or any other race, to be honest.
And that's what makes them so talented.
I think they just they have good examples.
I know
That's
that
all I
they're
can
not
think
as violent as any other race.
Yeah, it seems like they have some. Even the ones that are like beta, they still seem like they have sense.
Right.
Yeah, enough sense to operate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems.
When you have a more peaceful society, when you have a more peaceful neighborhood and a peaceful home,
Yeah.
you can concentrate better. You
That's
can
true.
function better. You have more
Yeah.
time to do great things potentially, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Anchor Baby? Anchor Baby show at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and expert on the JLP show.
It's the color. I think they're the real Jews. They're the real chosen people.
The white people?
Yeah.
And why you say that?
I'm sort of joking. It's just
Oh.
it's like all just seemingly, but you know, I'll say this. An interesting thing about culture.
Oh,
go on.
No.
An interesting thing about culture is how the hold it has on people, and how it can go across generations, and it could really. You can have a nation of people, with the same either issues or successes over and over. It can be passed down. So it's an interesting thing about that.
Yeah.
And culture is more than just like, it's like a combination of the color, the people, and everything.
Yeah, sure.
I was gonna say that a guy in the church, to add what Nick is saying, a guy in the church was talking about like, why don't whites have a community? He said that everybody else has a community. Why don't whites have a community?
Yeah.
What I was thinking about when he said that is that Christianity is its own culture, so to speak, right? And that when people return to God, there's a certain way of living. It shouldn't be about, in my opinion, the community or the culture, because we're supposed to overcome those traditions.
Right.
Because all those are just like things that we pick up over time that come from like silly stuff. But God's, in God's kingdom, I don't see it being culture. And I think that whites tend to lean more towards that. So they're not supposed to have a community. They think as individuals for the most part.
What is a community?
Yeah.
That's ghetto.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
You know how you say that everything is created in silence and
Right.
stillness?
Yes.
I think whites are more still and silent, and they're not as into entertainment. They're not into. I mean,
All
they
that
do
dancing
create
and
that
carrying
stuff.
on.
Right. And then the whites who are more into entertainment, like Jewish people, very entertaining. Some of the Irish are kind of entertaining, and they're more into their culture, and more into drinking and stuff like that. I think that may be a big part of it too, because when you have a calmer, peaceful inside and home and community, then you can create.
Do the white people...
And that stuff gets passed down.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
It really can be kept for generations. It's an amazing thing.
Not constantly needing the phone, iPad, although the whites are falling into that.
Yeah, they are. Don't do it, white folks.
I cut you off, Jesse.
Do white people have their own... Do they think of their community as being the white community?
Some of them are starting to, but no, not really.
Beforehand, they didn't think of... I know because I was reflecting... I've never heard the white... Over the years when the colored people have been bitching about white community. What?
It just caught me in surprise when as you flow so naturally in your sentence.
We were raised feminist. That's a banned word.
Do you know I never knew that bitching or bitch was a bad word growing up, because everybody said it, and it's always referred to a woman acting like a mad dog.
It was like a normal word to say back then.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like you could say it and I can't? Like I just told myself, let me throw out three B-bombs right now, and I can't do it.
But I think because my mindset is not a bad word. I don't hear it as I don't really see the N-word as a bad word, to be honest with you. I just know I've been hearing it ever since I've been out here. It was a bad word.
Yeah,
but I never thought of that as a bad word.
So you don't think the B word, but you think B word a bad word now? Come on.
I mean, it plays on my mind now, but I know how the thoughts are. It tried to tell me that because I know y'all think that. And then women think that, but I still don't think it's a bad word. It just means an angry woman acting like a mad dog.
What does the F-bomb mean?
No, that's a cuss. Come on.
Yeah, that's a cuss.
Well, say that one. Let's see how that one sounds.
See if it's natural.
What's the F? What's the F?
Blacks are always trying to get you to say something to get yourself in trouble.
Faith, there you go.
And the reason I asked you, white people call their community the white community. When I moved out here, I didn't even hear the word white community. I moved here. There was the white community is, where white people live, but it was just white people living there.
That's just America.
They just right.
Yeah.
But I never even heard black community either growing up. I didn't hear black community.
That's a good point.
It was just a community. I didn't even hear the word community. It's like, this is where I live.
Yeah. It's the same thing also like white actors. You never heard of white actors. You just heard of just actors. Yeah, there was never
and you knew
thing.
their names.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't no big thing. But to add to that, there's people who call into show like James' show or your show, who won't name names, but they are trying to develop a white community. And what that does, though, is it sounds nice, but what is happening is just going to turn right into the black community.
Absolutely.
Just
I
with
was just
anger.
about it's going to turn to the black community.
And they don't realize how dumbing the anger is.
Right.
They're like, no, we're higher IQ.
It's crazy.
I mean, you are higher IQ, but the destruction.
Good.
The destruction may look different on the outside,
yeah,
but it'll still be destruction.
Yeah.
It's crazy how stupid anger makes you. It's
I know.
Weird. It's so weird.
Anger
it's the only
is
truth.
Pure darkness. You can't see it, don't even know you see.
Yeah.
So we still can't figure out what's wrong with the white. Why they so smart, huh? We hitting around it, but we don't know the exact reason.
Hey, chosen people, the real chosen people.
I'm going to have to ask Bill.
You're going to have to interview either Donald Trump or Elon.
Right. I'm about to interview Donald Trump, Elon, Putin, or that guy from
Dream Team.
From Cozy.
Oh, Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. Nick can tell me.
Nick been on your show, though.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah.
Nick can tell me. So we still don't know why white people are so innovative and smart and everybody want to go to the country and destroy it.
I mean, I hear even like the Jews have a higher IQ, so I don't even know if it's IQ. It's something else. It's an X factor.
But the Jews be having very nice neighborhoods and things.
No, for sure.
A lot of good business and clean, and they walk on Saturdays.
Very smart IQ, but it
And
can't just be that.
They have a bunch of babies.
And they have a bunch of babies.
And quick before we go out,
we got 5 seconds now.
We'll be right back. Right back.
Treasure Chest is open on D Live.
Treasure Chest is now open on D Live. So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or how much you have or don't have or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing. Okay, folks, welcome back. 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. The Hake Report is coming up at the top of this hour. The Hake, HAKE report.com from 9 to 11 a.m. And at 11 a.m., Joel Friday TV. He black. Joel Friday TV at 11 a.m. At 2 p.m. today, Punchy TV. Punchy, Punchie TV. A female guest, going to be debating 3 guys. 4 guys. 1 against 4. You know she's tough. And the rest of the guys, 4 against. You do not want to miss this at 2 p.m. on Punchy TV. 1 female against 4 guys. Amazing. And at 2 p.m. And at 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby. At 4 p.m. today. So amazing lineup. And don't forget to do all the social media stuff. Like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, and all that on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, cozy.tv where Christ is King, JLP Talk on X, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. All right, so a lot of work. Thank you for your support, your donations, and everything. So, Joel, you have one other thing you want to say about the whites or the blacks?
The Jews in the Jewish community, because like in LA, they have little pockets of Jewish community. You can see them,
right?
And they like walk down the street. They have a bunch of babies too, all the time,
right?
But I also noticed that I see this all the time. I thought it was a joke at first, but I see this all the time. I see the little Jewish kids driving the cars, and they're like 11.
Yo.
I see it all the time, and I know that they're not of age because their face still looks like a child's face. And they're driving the cars with a normal look as if this is normal.
Crack.
No, they
might never seen worse.
They might just train them earlier.
I don't know if I'm judging, but I've never seen worse driving than when it gets a little bit, when the traffic starts hitting in the Jewish area, they're just walking. There's no crosswalks. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's true.
They're everywhere.
But I think that they're just teaching their kids to start younger.
They do. They teach them to be, but they're not driving. They can't drive.
No, they're really driving. No. I'm telling you.
He's ratting them out.
Really
he wants the police to do stings rather than protect them.
Amazing.
Joel,
so we
don't
try
you know?
to figure out, folks, what is it that white people has that no one else seems to have? They make things work. They create things.
Sorry.
They're constantly moving forward. And blah, blah, blah. Something that they have that no other race seems to have. And because every time you go into their countries, you destroy it. You don't make it better. And there's jealousy of the white. So Stephanie want to tell me what it is. Stephanie, a first-time caller out of Philadelphia. Good morning, Stephanie. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just wanted to say the black and white issue, I think that the black community just needs their dads, and they'll be fine.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
You don't got to overthink it.
Because when they had their fathers prior to the civil rights movement, life was totally different.
Yeah.
Very good, Stephanie. You're all right with me. So go ahead.
All right. So
you're on the air.
My question, thank you. My question was, I asked my mom to forgive me for resenting her. And I didn't understand it at the time. I was just doing it because you told me to.
Right.
But I understood after the fact that I was like, oh, I get it. She made me into a bitch like she is.
Yes, a bitch.
And so when I am a bitch, I get the overwhelming feeling of, what did you call it, sadness, or for your biblical question?
The brand new one?
Yeah.
Do you recognize a wave of pain that overtakes you?
Yeah. So I get a wave of pain when I'm a bitch to somebody else.
Yes. Yes.
Look what you did, Jesse.
We'll bring the word bitch back.
I like this movement.
I heard you guys say it, so I thought I could say it.
Nice.
And so my question is, I asked my oldest son to forgive me because I let his dad raise him, because I knew, without knowing, I knew I wanted a strong man. And I knew I wanted him to grow up to be a man.
Yes.
And I knew he needed a dad. So I asked him now, he's 20, recently, to forgive me. And he said yes, and he understood.
Right on.
It's actually pretty beautiful. So I have stepkids that I've raised, do I need to ask them to forgive me, or is that my ego that I think I do and their mom does? Because their mom basically abandoned them and I raised them.
Yes. Let me tell you this first. You're not supposed to ask anyone to forgive you. You're supposed to apologize for being wrong and that you've been judging your mother and other people. You're angry. And anyone who has anger judges and they play God. So that's why we say, you know, those who want to be free, they admit that they are wrong for being angry, for judging. And so don't ask your mother to forgive you. You apologize for resenting her. She could not help herself. And then with your stepchildren, I would encourage you to have a sit-down talk with them and just say, you know what, at the time, I didn't understand how much you needed your father, and I should not have gotten in the way. I'm sorry for that. I was wrong. And then move on.
Okay. Understood. I do understand.
That makes sense?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Because...
Like, I'm not sorry that I raised him, and I'm not sorry I married him,
right.
but I'm sorry that I wanted his attention.
Yes, you got in there. You were selfish, and you tried to get the attention for you, which took it away from them, and they needed the attention of their father because the mother was gone, and they need, at least they need the body, the soul, the spirit yearn for the love of a father. Boys and girls do not want step-parents in the way.
Yes. Oof. Okay.
So you just say, hey, I'm wrong for that. I was wrong. I'm sorry. And then that's all you need to do. You can't do anything else about it.
And last thing, I did do the silent prayer, and I didn't get it at first, but then I was trying to do it, but I kept having thoughts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I get why God wants a silent prayer because us women just won't shut up. We're like, blah, 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 blah. He wants us to be quiet. And
You're trying to figure out a way to shut up, woman. Absolutely. But what you really are becoming aware of is the busy voices in your head because you've been living one with those voices thinking that they were you. And they have been leaving you astray in the wrong, with everything wrong, right? So now you're becoming aware of that. And God, if you stay with it, the truth will give you a clear mind. You will no longer have those voices in the head. You will only have the voiceless voice of the Father working in you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, honestly.
And stay with it. I don't care what happens. How hard it gets, how long it takes, who agree with you or don't agree with you, disagree with you, you stay with it. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your world, so you stay with it.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do for all of us.
You're welcome. You stay with it. I'm telling you, you have not seen real love yet. If you stay with this, you will know real love. You won't have faith about it. You won't have to think about it. You will just have real love, and you will have no more hatred in your heart. You will be free.
It's pretty exciting. I can't wait.
That's right. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, Stephanie.
Thanks.
All right. Amazing.
Jesse.
What?
On the black and white thing.
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
Did we talk about the JQ? The Jesus question? Jesus. Who in the last 500 years of all the people have been at least trying to follow Jesus as much as possible?
Jesus, how I love him. Jesus, Jesus, how I love him. But go ahead.
Who in the world in the past 500 years of all the peoples have been at least trying to follow Jesus?
The Jews.
The whites?
The whites.
The Jews. Nice.
No, the white.
Yeah.
The whites been going around the world telling everybody about Jesus.
And I think of other nations where it's like their countries are hell, but the little good that's come is the Christianity. And they turned away from Christianity and it gets worse. nations come to
That's
mind,
a
like
good point.
Haiti just recently, but others. I don't know. I'm just talking. What do you guys think?
A good point.
I wonder if at one point on Earth was there a time where it was reversed, like 1,000 years ago, were the blacks in the whites position, the whites in the black position.
That's what I heard, that blacks really ran Europe and that the whites were the blacks' slaves.
They ran Europe into hell.
That's what the blacks told me.
But I wonder if
they ran Europe into destruction.
I don't know if that's true.
That ain't true.
King James was black.
Black people always want to say they were first, but there's no proof.
But maybe 2,000 years ago, what if the roles were reversed? What if the whites were sitting around wondering, like, how come we can't be like the blacks?
If that was true, then there would be some remnant of it now, right?
Maybe there was no pens and paper.
So they weren't leading it. Smart people create pens and paper.
I heard that the Chinese ran stuff for a while.
Yeah, right. They ran the rice fields.
So did the Chinese bring?
don't know.
Bring Jesus the frankincense and myrrh and gold?
Who was myrrh?
The kings from the Orient.
Oh.
I
heard the British
Derek say that white people are innovative and they have a high IQ. And Derek is black for the record. He's my producer. You get Derek.
High IQ is not always a positive thing.
Ain't no such thing as a high IQ.
That's right.
No, I'm serious.
Oh.
That's made up by white people.
To judge based on
the high IQ white people.
If your IQ ain't like the white IQ, your IQ ain't no good.
That's why they're hating the Jews. The Jews are winning on the IQ thing.
Let me take a bunch of calls real fast here. Let me go to Maze out of Ohio. Maze, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Jesse and guys.
Hey, Maze. Good morning.
You was talking about communities.
What's she call
Now,
us?
if you lived on the plantation, that was your community, right? Plantation community.
Right, but we didn't think about it that way at all. It was just, this is where I live.
So, and then you had the people at the big house. That was their community. And then you had when people could purchase houses, they were trying to keep
Did you hear me say we weren't thinking that way about it, though?
Oh, you couldn't think that way because you had no rights to think that way because you didn't have no rights.
Ain't nobody tell me how I
So
can
you
think
have
of
them now.
that. Wait.
Yeah, plenty of rights.
Let's walk down the road,
Did
Jesse.
no one tell me growing up that I have to think a certain way?
Oh, really?
No, I promise you that.
They tell you what time to go to the cotton field. They tell you what. But I don't think you grew up on the plantation.
My
Jesse.
granddad and them told me that.
Yeah, your grandfather probably grew up on the plantation. I don't think you did because you the same age as my aunt, and she didn't grow up on the plantation.
Oh, but so
Came from the same place. But that's not my point.
Whatever, Maze.
That's not my point.
I have a best friend. He was my age, and he didn't grow up on the plantation.
That's why we need Kinfolk's Corner again, so we can know.
They own the plantation.
Did you hear what I said? That's what I'm saying. They own the plantation. And then when it came to going to school, that's why Johnny can't read today because they denied people from reading.
What
back
are
in those
you
days.
talking about?
I'm talking about what you talking about back in
Generations
those
ago
days.
is why blacks are illiterate today?
What?
No, that's not why they're illiterate. That's what you tell them they're illiterate. Who's telling them they're illiterate?
You said Johnny can't read. That means he's illiterate.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't read, but he can read now. Your ancestors could. Some of them could not read because they were denied the right
for themselves.
So a lot of them can read now. You know, like you do better than your parents did, and you do better than your parents did.
No.
Isn't that
You're
sad?
supposed to.
Isn't that sad? Maze think this way.
No.
It's like
I'm thinking.
sad.
I'm not saying what you want to do.
It's not even.
I'm just saying what I
It's not
want.
even true. It is so sad.
It is true, Jesse.
Yes, Nick.
No, she's basically
What's not
saying
true?
that people couldn't think for themselves because they didn't read something. Look at all
They
the
don't
people
want
who
people
are
to-
reading
that's the
books
problem
now.
How about
Yeah,
Booker
they're
T.
crazy.
Washington?
Think for themselves at all.
How about Booker T. Washington, a black man, enslaved? I mean, real deal. He started in Tuskegee Institute. He was one of the first black men to meet with the presidents and the peanut butter guy that you have.
And that's right. That's why you still living. Some of them that didn't die because of him, because of the peanut guy.
Sam
You're talking about smartness.
Sam
But
Houston
who was
forced
starving?
his slaves
You
to
stopped the
read.
people from starving. So it's what I'm saying is like the man that can
It's so
make water.
sad that you think that way, Maze.
Well, I'm trying to tell you, just the man that can make water out of air, they won't even give him the opportunity that they gave Eli Musk to get some government money to fund his
The
stuff.
black guy
But
who
then
can
you want to
make
sit here and give him mercy and grace.
Electrolysis.
Fuel
That's what
out
you want to do.
out of water.
And the real McCoy
Maze,
was not
Maze,
invented by
Maze,
Caucasian people. What?
Maze.
What?
It's
I know
so-
I'm disturbing y'all. Y'all bless God. I don't bless God.
It's so
You understand?
sad that you think
Y'all
that
don't,
way.
y'all don't bless God. Y'all say God bless you. I bless God.
Mate.
You do good things. What?
Mate, it's so
What?
sad you think that way.
No, it's sad because I can think and y'all can't.
But you think
for
like
me.
the blacks.
I think the way I want to think.
No, you think like the blacks.
Because if the blacks community and the Asian community and the Canadian community, everybody got a community. Don't they?
No.
No.
So you're talking
Tell
about
her no,
community.
Joel.
But then they...
Joel said no.
Why do you think
Who said
that the
that?
blacks have? But why do you think the blacks have a community? Why do you think anybody
Well,
has a community?
why did they go and bomb the communities up that they did have? Like all the crimes in this country. You tell me that, Joel, and then you can give me a
But what does
story
that
on
have to do?
one. If you
What does
do
that
your
have to
They
do
were
with
rioting.
community?
You got to put the smack
They
down.
were not rioting nothing.
Yeah, huh?
They had their own, and it was taken away from them.
You talking about the Tulsa bombing?
No, I'm not talking about the Tulsa. I'm talking about all Florida, Alabama, and all different places in this country.
Because they were fighting.
Where they had their own, and it was taken from them.
It was not.
But everybody had
People do
Don't tell
naturally
me-
separate.
The
don't
white
tell me-
man had a
government has
fight too, and he won.
And the government has
Everything-
always taken away the cheap
It is
land.
just like the North and the South was fighting against
But
each
also-
other.
but also-
Which you don't want to have a thing
But
about that
Maze,
either.
but
in
Maze,
denial.
it ain't
So you
have
in denial,
nothing to
I
do
bless
about the
God. Y'all
color.
said-
It didn't have
Joel
nothing to do
speaking.
about the color. Is that if a
Joel,
community?
you say you. What did you say? You don't
listen,
even.
listen. If a community was mixed with
Yeah,
people,
like, listen.
if there was a mixture of people in the community, in black, white, Asian, whatever, Hispanic, and they were in one community and they got bombed by a different community, that community is gonna fight back to protect the
If
community.
they're driving them, they don't have
it
nothing to
ain't
fight
got
back
nothing
with.
to
What
do
do you
with
do? Be
color.
just like those people over there in other place getting bombed. They getting bombed. They don't have nothing to fight back with. But then you telling them they're the problem.
Bomb
problem with the world.
Iraq.
The
So
countries
people
would be
naturally
better off if
separate
they
me.
kept
What's
people
your
out
point?
of their countries and let them live in their own country and leave them alone. That's how that happened.
Man, you're not
you got to
giving
go
us
over there and
any
disturb
kind of solution to why white
What?
people are so smart.
Why they so what?
Smart.
Because they're so bright.
Uh-huh.
If you follow them, you're going to be
That's
just as
mean,
bright
man.
as they are.
Why are
and
they
not follow your,
But why are they so bright?
they're not. Why are they bright? I don't think look at them bright. I look at them when they can tell other people how they're supposed to think, what they're supposed to do, and what's out here and what's that. Just like you said, you don't believe in high IQ because who told you about the IQ? They created that to tell you that somebody's IQ was higher than yours. And if you believe it, that's your problem. That's not
Thank you. Jesse agrees with you on that one.
what. And if you believe it, that's your problem. And everything else is done that way.
But none of this explains the problem.
I know. She
Yes,
didn't
it do explain the problem.
You
That you
still
don't
didn't
listen to the
explain
people.
What's wrong with
why
the blacks,
white
Mace?
people are so
If
smart.
you came out with a plan,
Mace, let me ask you this.
What?
What's wrong with the blacks?
nothing.
Nothing.
The same thing that's wrong with everybody else.
Nothing.
The same thing that's wrong with everybody else. is
But
wrong
white
with the
people
black.
don't have that.
Oh, yes, they do. You tell me something that they don't have, that black people don't have.
They don't kill every day in the community.
Excuse me?
They don't kill
You don't
every
hear
day.
about it every day they killing in the community.
May, I
but they
got to
do.
run, though. I got to
Okay,
run.
but
Thank
y'all
you.
have a good one. And the next time y'all discuss black people, just like Jesse said, they still taking Caucasian land and they taking black land. But when it comes to crime, you want people to think that black people are the only one that commit crime.
All right. Thank you, May.
Yeah, have a good one.
You have a good one. Ricardo out of Indiana.
Hey.
First time call. Hey, Ricardo.
Hey, the great Black Hope. I'm on the air. What's up, Jesse?
The great black hope. All is well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, I'm a huge fan. I wanted to just first of all, real quick, thank you for all the knowledge you've dropped on all of us. I've been following it for the past couple of months, really, like strictly, and it's done wonders for me, my family, my wife, my kids. It just trickled down, like you said.
Yeah.
The order
Stay with
from
it.
God
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah, it's trickled down.
Yes.
Yeah, anger's gone. Peace is building. It's amazing. But thank you.
You're welcome.
So the question I have is, so I was raised Catholic, and I'm kind of being led to more towards Christianity, right? And I have two kids. One's 11, the other one is 4 months old. In the Catholic faith, we would have probably already baptized him. So I'm struggling with that. Like, I know that in Christianity, you really don't baptize babies. What's your take on that? Should we baptize him as a baby, or should we wait till he's older? Or, I'm just really struggling with that.
You do what you want, but I recommend let him grow up, and as an
Yeah.
adult, he would decide if he wanted to do that or not.
Yeah, and
And
that's what I'm leaning more. Sorry, go ahead.
And then it'll be real. But if you do
Yeah.
it as a little child, it's just for your ego. It has nothing to do with him.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can I ask you one more thing?
Yes.
Okay. So is it possible to have grown up with a father that did protect you from your mother to where you didn't, she didn't have the hell in her because, let's say, the father took it out of her, it didn't pass it on to the child, and the father did protect the child. Do you think that's possible?
Well, it is possible, but it's rare because you would have found that in the old school, but all women have the hell in them, and so all women have to overcome that. It's just that in the good old days when boys were boys, men were aware of the hell in a woman, so they tend to try to protect the children from it. But today's fathers doesn't know about it. If your father knew about that, it is quite possible he protected you from it.
He did, because I'm the youngest child. This is the way I feel. I'm the youngest child. I'm 10 years apart from my older sister and 7 from my brother.
Yeah.
So I feel that maybe in the beginning they had it, because I never saw that. My dad always protected me from that. He always told her, "Hey, let me discipline them." So I've never really had that. I was really close with my father. So
Well, you're very fortunate if that happened for you, and yes, it is possible.
Okay, yeah, because I can pinpoint the moment where the anger kind of left me, because I was doing what you taught me. My son was angry because he couldn't play his video game, and he kicked his bed, right, not thinking that it would break, and it broke. And normally the old me would have scolded him, probably overreacted, basically.
Yes.
And I thought about what you said, and all thoughts are lies and everything, and I treated that situation with love.
Right on.
Instead, and I could tell you, it felt so liberating, and it left I felt something leaving my body, and my son, he changed overnight.
Yes.
It was so amazing seeing that, and ever since then, I think that's the moment where that stuff left. So I just want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. So that's the power of God's love working through. That's what should be working through all human beings. But because most human beings are not going to admit that they're angry, they only have the power of evil, which is a fake power, but they have evil working through them. And it destroys the children. But the power of love does what you say happened with your son.
Yes. I'm like, stay in your room for a few minutes, come out when you're ready. And when he came out, he was doing chores. He hasn't stopped. He hasn't stopped. He's just been super good and getting his schoolwork done more. Because that's why he couldn't play his video games, because he was grounded for that.
Right on.
And I didn't overreact to that either. And it was just amazing. Amazing.
Amazing. Stay with us. Stay with us. Stay with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you again, and you have a great day. Say hi to the crew for me. What's up, Hank and Joel and Anchor Baby. I'm an Anchor Baby too, I guess.
Amazing. They say hello. Thank you, Ricardo. All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Super chat.
Super chats.
Julie from Connecticut, Eric's wife, bought a coffee. Hi, Jesse. I saw the video you posted Friday. Hate to be the one to tell you this, but churches are actually teaching that women must have sex with their husbands a certain number of times per week. And that this is a requirement of God. To be more specific, the church I used to go to told me I have to have sex with my husband a minimum of 3 times a week in order to fulfill my wifely duties.
So you don't feel like it.
Is that African church, Julie?
Must be.
This is really happening. And again, I hate to report this to you, but it is actually true. I'm sorry to say.
Well, forgive them, Julie. Don't go back to that church.
Thank you, Julie.
I'm out of time.
All right. We'll read the rest tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we're going to do that if the Lord is willing. And we're going to read the super chats first and then get to the caller. We got to catch up with those. Thank you for them. The Hake is coming up now, thehakereport.com at 9 a.m. And then Joy Friday at 11. And then the American Anchor Babe at 4. Puncher TV at 2. You don't want to miss Puncher TV. 1 woman against 4 guys. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait. I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to be laughing. Then I'm going to go on my knees and pray for the guys. So tune in. Forgive your mothers and your fathers. Do the silent prayer. Rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. And stay present. That's all you have to do. And life will be amazing. Andres out of Texas. Eric out of Indiana. Wayne out of Texas, William out of California. And the call that dropped, I'm out of time. I have some more about this man, Daddy. What's his name? Elon Dad. Hopefully tomorrow. Take care, folks. I appreciate y'all. The Hake Report is coming up now. TheHakeReport.com. Bye. I recommend you get a copy of my book, From Rage to Responsibility. I write about how the spirit of anger was taken away from me 29 years ago. I forgave my mother who tried to turn me away from my father, and I returned to my father, and through him, my father on earth, and through him I was able to return to God. No man or woman can return to God unless you go through the Son. And men are sons of God. There may be weak, pathetic examples of it, but it's the spiritual order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. So get From Rage to Responsibility. I write about that. Go to my website, rebuildingtheman.com for an autographed copy, or call 800-411-BOND. And donate to my nonprofit, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I recommend you get a copy of my book, From Rage to Responsibility. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From Rage to Responsibility. From Rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam, how the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-26